You're listening to Drummer Daily, the only daily podcast just for drummers. Hey, this week on the podcast, I am trying to see if I can get a few more reviews for my podcast on iTunes. And I would love it if you could take 10 seconds and do that for me right now. So just go to iTunes and search for Drummer Daily and just leave your honest rating and review. You can click on the star rating and just type 1 or 2 sentences about what you think about the podcast. And that would be so helpful to me in keeping this podcast going. All right, thanks, and on to the show. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back for more Drummer Daily. I think I say yo, yo, yo a lot. I don't know. I just like saying it because it's goofy. Anyway, I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for joining me today. I've been thinking about something today, and I was like, I had this crazy idea, and it's not really crazy, but to me it's a crazy idea, and I've done this before. I've just kind of floated ideas out there in the podcast and see if it's a good idea or bad idea. You guys are you're really good about letting me know if something I'm thinking about is either a really great idea or a terrible idea. You can let me know. So I'm going to preface this by saying this. Let me know what you think about this. Send me an email if you have an opinion about this. Daniel@danielhadaway.com. And I hadn't actually planned to talk about this today on the podcast, but I've been kind of working on this and kind of just thinking about details and things. And I thought today would be an appropriate time. It's on my mind. And so I thought, why not get your feedback? Because I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have been around, or you probably know me better than most people in my world. I really almost desperately want to help as many people as I can with their drumming. I feel like it's kind of my calling to help drummers, and that's why I do this podcast. That's why I do everything that I do. I've been thinking about this kind of thought, and I also want to preface this by saying, as I think back on the last few episodes of the podcast, it's going to seem like I was planning this or thought like, this was like, all some kind of strategic thing that I was kind of leading up towards, but I promise it's not. Maybe subconsciously it was because I've been kind of thinking about this stuff anyway. But I promise you that literally I thought I should talk about this. The idea to talk about this came up to my mind probably less than 5 minutes ago before I hit record to do this. So you got to trust me there. This wasn't planned. But anyway, I was saying that if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know me better than people who maybe just read my newsletter or just like my Facebook page or just do the Instagram thing, whatever, which I love because I feel like the only way that I can really, that we can really hang out and get to know each other and I can hopefully help in some way or inspire you in some ways by you knowing me. So I feel like this is the place for me to, if you're listening to this podcast, you're kind of my sounding board for ideas sometimes and things I'm thinking about doing. And I'm always trying to come up with new ways and ideas to help drummers. Now, also, this is not the big, huge thing that I'm working on, that I'm announcing on May 1st. So this is just another thing that I've thought of that I'm thinking about doing. So also keep that in mind. All right, so about 4 months ago, or maybe it was actually, I take that back. It was probably late last year. I floated out the idea to you on the podcast here. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing like these, like an in-person intensive. Like if you want to come to Nashville, hang out in the studio with me for a couple of days where we talk about drums, we work on your drumming, and then you also get a chance to do like an actual recording session and take that with you and use that in your portfolio, use that to leverage other gigs. We'll talk about how to get gigs. We'll talk about how to become a studio drummer or a working drummer or whatever else you want to do. I kind of floated that idea out there and I was like, hey, if that's something you might be interested in, you think that at least you want to know more about it when I kind of put it together, let me know. And so I did that, and I had several people email me immediately and say, yes, that sounds awesome, let me know. So then, about 3 months ago, somewhere in there, I announced it. I said I'm doing this 2-day drum intensive thing. It's a one-on-one thing, and it was only open to 10 people. And those 10 slots, I actually accidentally oversold by one. So I accidentally sold, we actually did 11 of those, or booked 11 of those. And I'm about halfway through doing those right now as I record this throughout this year. But I'm only doing 10 of those this year, and they sold out in less than a week. We sold out of all of the slots that were available. And now that of course wasn't cheap, doing that. And it was on purpose for a couple of reasons. Number one, studio time is super expensive. And also because we're limiting it to 10 people, by booking it or choosing it, we're taking the opportunity away from other people who might want to do it because there are only 10 slots available. So anyway, I limited to that. It was really expensive, but it sold out super fast. And I realized that there's a lot of people who, it may not be realistic for you right now to come to Nashville. It may not be realistic for you to pay this big upfront cost, and also, for whatever reason, a one-time kind of thing may not be what you're looking for. So I'm thinking about doing something. I'm calling it like I don't have a name for it really. I'm thinking like Pro Musician Mastermind or something like that. If you know the idea of business mastermind groups, it's where there's a small group of people who all have like a similar cause in mind, and they meet up like once a week or whatever, and they just talk and they share ideas, but they work with each other, things like that. And there's so much value in having. I think it came from. Is it Napoleon Hill had a book called Think and Grow Rich that was it's been around forever. But he talked about the idea of like having a mastermind group, having a group of people that are like-minded that you can join up with, that you really are able to dive deep with and go into drumming, or go into your business or your ideas or your life, whatever. And so I want to do that with drummers. I want to do that with you. And so a couple of things that I'm thinking about doing with this, and like I said, I haven't completely ironed out all the details, but I want you to tell me what you think about this. And also, by the way, if you're listening to this and you are one of the people who've done these 2-day intensives, this is of course open to you. This is not the same thing exactly, so this might be something you'd be interested in too. But the idea is this. A couple of things that I'm thinking about including. Again, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I'm thinking about limiting this to a very small group of people. It'll probably be around 50 people total. But what I'm going to do is I want to segment that into smaller groups, I think. I'm not sure yet. So that everyone gets a more intimate kind of experience. But I'm still working that out. But anyway, it will be limited because when you hear what it's going to be involving, when you hear what it involves, you're going to understand why I have to limit it. All right, so a couple of things. First is a lot of people were excited about doing the in-studio intensives, coming in and experiencing the studio. So one of the big things I want to do with this is as part of this program, as part of this mastermind group, every 3 months, so every quarter basically, we're going to have a meetup here in Nashville, and it will be in a studio where you'll get to hang out. And maybe have a chance to track depending on how we divide it up in number of people involved. But we'll also discuss drumming. We'll work on your drumming, but we'll also have special guests. So we'll always have like a really successful producer, another successful either touring or studio drummer. But there will be someone that you probably recognize already that will be there in person. And like I said, it'll be a small group of people. These will be divided up. So it'll probably be like 10 or 15 people total. And it'll be an all-day event in studio here in Nashville. So that's included. So every 3 months you'll have a chance. So you don't have to come to all of these. And I'm thinking that maybe what we'll do is if you can't make it, we'll still like videotape these or record these and videotape. What decade is this? We'll record these in some way and then provide them to you even if you can't make it in person. Of course, it's best to be in person, obviously. So it would be that. But that would be included. So basically think of like doing an intensive. It won't be a one-on-one, but it'll be a small group, and it'll also not just be me every time. It'll be all these other really well-known people who've been successful as drummers coming in. We'll also do ongoing coaching with me drum coaching via Voxer. So I've offered this before, and before by itself was it was about $500 a month. And so this mastermind thing's not going to be that expensive. Don't worry about that. I haven't figured out the price yet. But anyway, Voxer coaching. So at any moment you can type, you can use your voice to just send me a little voice message, like walkie-talkie type messages. We can do video back and forth, but ongoing coaching with your drumming, pretty much like having an ongoing lesson with me all the time. Personal email access. So I have my personal email address. You'll have access to that. I'm thinking about doing like a monthly video critique where at least once a month, maybe twice a month, part of this will be you can send me a video of yourself playing something, or maybe I'll give you an assignment and you video yourself playing it, and then I will then respond and critique and tell you some things to work on for that month or kind of move forward that way. So that's something I'm thinking about including in that. Business and marketing coaching. So that's another thing that a lot of people who want to be professionals don't necessarily think about is music business is a business. And there's a lot of things about marketing yourself, managing yourself as a business. I don't know if you know this or not, but I've been self-employed in some way, whether it's through music or other means, for over 10 years now. So I have a lot of experience. And so there would be some aspects of business as well involved in creating a business out of your drumming or making a living out of your drumming that we'll discuss as well. And that's something unique that I don't really offer anywhere else. We don't talk about that anywhere else. And then also we'll do a weekly live meetup. This will be a private live meetup via video where we can all hang out. I'm not sure if it'll be talking or drumming or both. Sometimes maybe we'll switch out and do a few different things. So all of that will be included. And then that one other thing that'll be included for sure in this is, now I haven't announced it yet, so I feel bad, but I can't tell you what it is still. May 1st, you'll know what it is. But it will also include what I'm going to announce on May 1st. Unlimited forever access to everything included on what I'm announcing on May 1st. And I will say this about what I'm announcing on May 1st. It's not going to be just like Boom Click Boot Camp, where it's a thing that lives and it's kind of it was created and it kind of exists in a static form. What I'm announcing on May 1st is going to be multiple things, and it will grow exponentially over the months and years. There'll be more and more resources added to it. And so what this kind of monthly this mastermind group that I'm talking about, this pro musician mastermind group I'm talking about for drummers, will include lifetime unlimited access to all of the stuff that ever comes out through this other thing that I'm working on. And I can tell you right now, I'm looking at my plans for this, it will end up being worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about including. And so if personal interaction with me regarding your drumming is something you crave, but you can't make it down to Nashville, or you want to get started before next year because we're already sold out for the intensives for the rest of the year of 2017. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, like I said, just send me an email, daniel@danielhadaway.com, or just send me, or I think you can find my contact form on danielhadaway.com. Just let me know if this sounds like something that you might be interested in. Again, if no one is interested, I won't do it. But I want to find a way to personally interact with you and help you with your drumming ongoing throughout the year. I want to be involved in your success. I actually want you to be successful. If you've seen some of my other podcasts, you know that I believe that success is created. It's not taken. So in order for you to be successful, it doesn't threaten me or anybody else to help you be successful. We all can create our own success as drummers, and I want to help you create your success. So and part of that is, I think, personally interacting, getting connected more and doing more, answering questions or actually maybe guiding you and helping you do the work of becoming a great drummer. Let's do that together. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, just send me an email, daniel@danielhadaway.com. All right, so the next episode, I promise you, we'll get back to just real practical stuff, but I wanted to flip this idea out here for you today. Let me know what you think. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for listening today. Bye for now.